Hello everyone, welcome to Ibiza. We're sitting here at Juntos Farm and we're going to talk about food, farming and community on the island of Ibiza. But we think that the learnings that we have here in Ibiza are relevant for the whole world and this movement that is emerging globally. And here on Ibiza, over the last 20 years, we've lost about 60% of our farming activity. At one point, every square inch of this island was cultivated. Now only 10% is cultivated. So in effect, we lost almost 90% of the agricultural activity on this island. But we've seen an incredible resurgence over the last 10 years. And it's been driven by many different communities. There's a strong local community that is rebuilding the agricultural sector, but also an international community that have created new farms and new projects on this island. And we have today with us 3 people that have all chosen to either come back to this island or come to this island and been part of this movement. And we are super excited to share their stories with you today. And since we are here on Ibiza, why don't we start with the Ibizenco? My colleague actually, Ismael Torres. Ismael, why don't you tell us quickly about yourself?
Yeah, as you said, I'm originally from Ibiza. I just went out to study in such a nice city as Madrid. I specialize in finance. I start to work, to progress in big companies. And yeah, I was ready to take the world, but suddenly you turn years and you start to think in words like family, friends, life quality, get more important, and other words such as purpose or impact, start to come to you. And I was doing something that I really liked it, but I was missing another part that was like feeling realized. And getting back to the island and starting to know Christian and his amazing project, for me it was a huge opportunity to realize or to feel myself realized with this amazing project, and this is why I'm here in Juntos, working together with Christian.
Thank you very much, Isma. We are very happy to have you here. And Jose, you also have decided to make this island your home. You don't come from here, you come from Chile. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you arrived to the island and what you do here?
Hello everyone. First of everything, I want to really be thank you for being part of that and to share a little bit my history, who I find like something inspiring for all of us as well. No, I'm from Argentina, Patagonia. Yeah, but no, don't worry. And I find like Ibiza is my house. It's a place where I want to live. And who I am a father, first of everything, for 3 amazing, beautiful kids. I'm a lover. I have my Julieta, who is my inspired love. And in the other part, I have a chef. I work like I connected with the food, the elements. And I come to Ibiza just looking behind the food situation, and I find here like all my inspiration about how I can do for something for feel good, no? For be part of this process in a different way, to be really connected with the land, with the customers, with the products, to be an artist in some way. And then I feel so blessed to find like my place for me, for my family.
Amazing. Thank you, Jose. It's been a pleasure to get to know you over these years, and we're going to dive a little bit more into your experiences. But I also want to introduce Anna. Anna, you have a long history with Ibiza, and you were part of when this new movement of agricultural activity on Ibiza started, and then you've gone on to do really amazing things and really been bringing together, regenerative farming practices with food. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into that in a bit, but just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm very lucky because my parents brought me up bilingually, Spanish, English, and also loving nature. And so what you receive as a child really sets the basis for your future, no? And so it's great that family is such an important thing, that we really care for that and create the right space for that. So I was looking for how can I provide to the world, how can I bring my skills, my talents to add to this world instead of extract, how can I add? So for many years I was in activism, climate activism and that kind of thing, and just got burnt out because it was a constant fight against what I don't want to see And so I decided I want to work in favor of what I do want to see, put my energy into the positive of what I want to see. And so I came to Ibiza, coming from the city, from that city work in London. I came here and just fell in love with the nature and discovered my own inner nature. And worked with a really great project here on the island, Casita Verde, which was a space for people to come and see how to have a better impact on the planet. And from there, had a partner who's a farmer, and so realized that actually it isn't just about the waste that we produce and the water that we use, it's about the food that we eat and how it's produced. Yeah. So with a bunch of other people, we reactivated the local Organic Farmers Association. That was 20 years ago, and it's still going strong right now. It's amazing what's happening here. It's just such a joy to watch what's going on here in Ibiza. And so that was my introduction into farming. And by 2009, I had a crisis in my life where I thought I was dying. And I thought, if I'm staying on this planet, what am I actually gonna really do? Like, what do I wanna see? So I was like, so what do I want to see in the world? And at that point, my profession is interpreting. I was interpreting some of the most amazing people in the world in regenerative farming that was just beginning that term, and also in facilitation of human processes. How do we create spaces for people to nurture each other and grow in a healthy way in community? So the farmers who were learning about these things felt very alone. Yeah. So I realized we need community around these farmers. Mm-hmm. So for the next 15 years, my mission is, and still is, to help or to provide spaces and moments and network and the energy for people to be able to connect from a different space and be able to find solutions together. Because we're in this boat together, and we're not going to solve this separately, individually. We have to go together on this. And so, but for that, we need to overcome some of our personal challenges and conflicts with each other. So we need to create those spaces. It's a new culture we need to create. So with that new paradigm, you know, it's about not just the food, it's the relationships that we have with each other and with food.
And I think this is a really interesting moment to just clarify for the audience, because I don't know if everyone is aware of organic and regenerative, and there's different types of regenerative. Would you like to share a little bit about, you know, when you talk about we need to change the way we farm, what do you mean?
So we need to farm in such a way that we are revitalizing the ecosystem instead of just extracting food and leaving the place worse. We can actually farm, and this is the good news. It can be done, absolutely, so that we can revitalize the soil, and in healthy soil, have healthy plants, healthy animals, and healthy people who eat that. So for me, one of my big concerns is health, holistic health of the whole ecosystem, and that starts in the soil. So that's what we can care for as we farm.
Yeah, and I think, you know, La Granja was probably the first kind of project on this island from, you know, international community that created something around farming that kind of popped, that became super, you know, exciting, and lots of people talking about it. Everyone was so, you know, it became a hype, and you were there at the core of it, and I just wanted to see, Jose, were you surprised by the reception? How did you feel?
For me, it was like a completely revelation. You know, I come like from work like in a really high class restaurants around the world, and when I came to Ibiza and find like that way to connect with the products and share to the people, it was like something who really everything started to have like a sense. You know, because you are really chefs in some way are really disconnected with the products, with everything. In some way they work like a, you know, to try to make something nice, the people like it, but they forget it about the other process. And you know, La Granja gave me the chance to be that, to be like with the farmer, really partners, to eat together, to talk, okay, how is good, how you feeling about that? And you know, get all the experience or the passion from, can feel it, from the aubergine, bring it to me, you know, and when we eat it, I can start to feel it, that all that connection. And then I was like, in some way, the people who communicate to my team first, to to get at that passion. And it was all sitting together around an aubergine and always get like a different history, how the family cook, how it was like a new generation, the grandmother and everything. And then when we was sitting in front of the customers, sending like the products, it was like a completely another history. We do like something simple, but when we tell the history about, the products, the rain, how important it is on all that process, really the people can feel it, can test it. And then it was, these people really, La Granja was a place to really find like a really international community, and they can get that idea. It was something really strong to put these seeds in the mind of these people, because they say, oh, this is not only cool, this is amazing. They really test. And then they say, wow, why are so disconnected with that? We can eat in the more famous restaurant from around the world, but in some way we are missing the connection to the simplicity and get back to that things. And for me, like a chef, it was like, okay, this is gonna be my mission. First of everything for my kids as well, but for the population of chefs, to say we need to connect with that. We need to really be like a partner together to say like, listen, this is so important. It's not only look nice and have like a Michelin star. It's like something who tastes good, it's good for your community, it's good to be together for the kids' education, health needs, doctors, everything is like really so involved. We are building this kind of community to share something who is amazing. And I feel like this was a complete revelation. I changed my whole way to cook, to be part of the food process. And I always try to share that, to say, okay, check around you, who is next to you, who the products come from. And this is a really nice history to take in your dish. You don't need to put fancy. You need to just explain to the guests. And the customer really is gonna get it really deep. And this is gonna be, okay, how I can find that? How I can know more?
I got inspired by La Granja when in the early days of just trying to make sense of this urge that I had within me to work with the land and create something exciting. It was sitting at La Granja, I could, start framing it. Oh, maybe like La Granja, but like this or like that. And I thought, it's really been sensational what happened in the international community. But Isma, you represent, two populations here, or three, I would say. First of all, you're young, you're 30 years old, so you're the next generation coming up. The second, you're local Ibicenco, and the third, you're also coming from the world of business and finance. And I remember when I first met you, you hadn't heard much about these farming ways, and I want to ask you two questions. One is, how did you feel and how did you make sense of this when you came here and we started talking about it? And then I wanted to hear, you have been interacting a lot with the older farming population here on Ibiza, and when you share what you've learned with them, what type of response do you get?
Yeah, I will say that the response to both of your questions is something that Jose mentioned, that it's getting back to basics. I'm coming from this business world where I went there because I wanted to understand how was like running the world, why the prices were getting up, down, why the world was moving in that direction on the other. And then I realized that being here 6 months and looking at around me, it's like, wow, I've been missing a lot of things that are like the basic things and the important things, and understanding the vast, the trees, the vegetables, the fruits, everything. And it's all getting everything simpler and basic, and what it's really essential and important for us. And I have an anecdote with my family that when I explained them that I was getting back to the island after 12 years abroad, and they asked me like, what are you gonna do? What can you do here with your experience in Ibiza? I say, no, I'm gonna farm. They say like, what the hell? Yeah, no, it's a new way of farming. It's a regenerative way of farming. And they were looking at, my grandfather, 80 years old, looking at me like, what? And then I started to explain, no, because regenerative farming, it's about this practice, the other. And he was looking at me like, this is what I've been doing like for 50 years, So these are the kind of things that have bring me here to the local, to the present moments, and to enjoy what we are doing here at Juntos Farm.
Amazing. And I think, Anna, you are not just part of the early days of the movement here on Ibiza, or the nascent movement, the new movement, but you have also started to organize farmers all over Spain and Portugal, and now increasingly being involved with EARA, the European Alliance of Regenerative Agriculture. And we are sitting here in our little microcosm, and we're super excited. And you're seeing more like a pan-European picture. And how do you feel about what's happening and this movement that is emerging, and what are you feeling right now?
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I couldn't imagine 15 years ago that when I personally made my commitment to this journey, that we would be at this stage just 15 years later. It's been a lot of work of many people, and it is continually, and at the same time, the growth is exponential in the interest of people, just the general public that needs and knows that we need to do things better for the planet, we need to do things better for our kids, and we need to do things better for our health. Like, we need to eat better, and this is something that, and also getting pleasure again out of food, and that knowing that food is actually healing the planet instead of damaging it. Yeah. That's like a big step in people's awareness, and it's happening. And there's more and more attention from also public administrations and generally the political system in this kind of thing, because people's desires drive also what politicians know they need to say and try to do. Yeah. It's just that these are very slow processes, the political processes. So part of the role of EARA, the European Alliance of Regenerative Agriculture, which was created last year with pioneering regenerative farmers from 20 European countries, people who are in their own right, each one of them is a leader in their region. And these farmers come together to create a European alliance because it's understood that we're stronger together, and that there needs to be a voice for the farmers that official institutions can speak to. And it's very interesting. There's a study where they evaluate amongst the general audience the different profiles of people who has the most credibility amongst the general audience. And politicians or even journalists have like 20-30% credibility for people. But the sector of the population that has the most credibility right now for the audience are farmers. 70%. So the farmer's voice is more and more being sought and heard and placed in the right places. At the same time, we need to be very aware of things like greenwashing and what we can now call farmer washing, where a farmer is invited to a panel or is invited to a space to say we've included farmers, but then where does that go, right? So this is important as well. We can't be like, oh, it's all rosy, and no, there's an interest, but we need to be there to give it the depth of knowledge and of positive, constructive action that can be done together.
And how can people support, learn more, get engaged, support the important work that you are doing with Agricultura Regenerativa Ibérica and with EARA? Can you give people an idea of how to engage?
Yeah, the main thing people can do from their own home is to connect with local farmers, to go to your local farmers market, to actually find out how that food is being produced, not from a judgmental point of view, but just to say, hey, have you heard about this? Do you do organic? And have you heard about regenerative? Oh, well, we have a website. The Spanish Association is the first one that's in Spanish, and we really want to provide good information there. So that's agriculturaregenerativa.es. People can go there and have a look. But also, you just having conversations with people, like when you go to the shop to buy food, to actually ask, so how is this produced? Where does it come from? Oh, it comes from Peru. I'm not going to buy it because it may say organic, but it's not organic. It's come all that way. So it's about asking the questions and going to a restaurant and saying, where does your meat come from? Most times they don't know themselves in the restaurant. So it's like, oh, well, really, I encourage you to find out. And there's this website where you can buy grass-fed, 100% food, meet in Spain. So go there and have a look, you know. And so it's about having conversations at the hairdressers, in the taxi, you know. There's these conversations with people where you can start to sow those seeds, and there's places you can go to find out more, especially locally. Find the people locally. And then also there's a national network of the Spanish Association of Regenerative Agriculture. We're there to help and provide information. And at the European level, there's a great website there for the Alliance, eara.farm. There's really good information there, and really good action is being developed right now to actually reach decision makers in Brussels with specific proposals that come from those pioneering farmers, because the laws also need to be changed. Right now, a lot of people who are trying to do things regeneratively find the law doesn't allow them to, or makes it super difficult. And you guys know that at Juntos. I mean, you having to go through all the different steps of the paperwork and la granja, you know, it's like, it's a mission.
Clarkson's farm is actually really interesting. We're facing very similar challenges with that. So, you know, this. Thank you, Anna, and it's so beautiful the work that is happening and the ecosystem that is emerging locally, regionally, nationally, and globally. But if we come back to the local, you guys were part of sparking this movement on the experience level, and then, but tell us, how can people engage with La Granja today, or where is La Granja going as a project? Because you are not a public place anymore, so where is La Granja going?
But now, you know, after like 3 years, try to get it, like, okay, realize how we gonna try to do it, and we find like in a deeper ourselves, because we still like be part of La Granja. We feel that, no, you know, try to build like a real community around us, to get the knowledge to the people. You know, in one moment we was like a really inspiring, like one part of the population who was like the customer of La Granja, and now we really try to say, okay, we want to do retreats, try to build community, try to put like in some way, you know, schools who can pass the day in La Granja, just to try to feel the experience and try to build that kind of community. People who can get like a little bit of information to say where you can move, where you can be. Of course, for myself, I developed my own company who are like a kind of catering, but you know, but in some way I am like ambassador for that. And you was one of who helped me to do that, you know, when we was together here in Juntos Farm. And it was like something real, you know. People in Ibiza consume really a lot of private chef, but bring like that kind of idea. Even if you have like the luxury to get your private chef, I really want to tell as well how the product come from, how you can invest in that to send your private chef around your house to find the local products, to find your own community, and take like that circular system together and be inside of that. With La Granja, do you know, we always get like that kind of beautiful place to try to get like interesting people who come and have like this amazing farmers table to say we can be here to share knowledge without profit, only to cultivate our inner gardens, our crops and everything, and it's something beautiful to feel part of that and invest our time to do that. Small community together with you, with all the people, Andrea, all the people who are all together, you know, this network. I'm here like to facilitate myself, like about the food, communication system and everything. Everyone who needed about that, I want to be part of that in some way. With La Granja, of course, it was like my mentor place, and it was the place who was really inspired me, and it's the place where my kids grows and they know about everything in that place. And for me, I feel like, okay, this is something where the people can have access for a farm that you do here, you know, put the kids in the farm, just to go there and eat and try and get that interaction to say, oh man, be a farmer is something so important in all the way where we can do it and be part of all this process like a kid is something, okay, you need to have that in your life. And then this is a way we're gonna do and feel like something super happy.
Can we follow it somewhere? Is there a website, an Instagram?
We start to building, we're gonna put it, but we start to build it a little bit. We are like doing some kind of process, but we are really start to build
so
like
people should keep their eyes open.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Isma, tell us a little bit about Juntos. How can people engage with Juntos today?
Juntos is an amazing project. I will say that it's the most ambitious and impactful project here in Ibiza. And it's a journey that started 7, 8 years ago, but when it got real capacity, it was 2 years ago when we arrived here to this abandoned farm. So what we are doing now is to reactivating this farm because in order to support this transition to a local, small, organic, regenerative farm or way of doing farming, we always speak that we need to solve two topics or two sides. One side is in terms of costs, we need to reduce costs, and I think here with this infrastructure and with these shared tools, the local farmers can benefit of having such a big infrastructure in the island. And on the other side, we are creating or transforming from short-lived basic products into long-life value-add products. And with this, we are building demand, and we are doing it through similar experience as you are doing in La Granja with food, gastronomic experience, but also in terms of workshops and educational activities. So this is a private space, but we are opening it to all the people that want to visit us. So every day you can come here, you can enjoy our facilities, and also on Saturdays you can join our jornadas en La Granja, where we experience food, educational, ambient and vibes. That it's something amazing that you can come, or you can just follow us on Instagram at JuntosFarm. Juntos.farm.
And juntosfarm.com. Thank you, Isma. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Anna. It's been so nice to share this space with you. And I also want to say that, there is a really exciting movement here on Ibiza. There are ways that you can read about it and plug in. Ibiza Produce is a great tool to see about all the farms and markets and shops that are selling eco here on the island. You also have Sabores Ibiza that celebrates local products and local produce. You have a number of farmers markets today. You have the classic ones in Ibiza town and in Santa Eulalia. You also have the Cooperativa San Antonio that do a market every Friday. You also have Forada that do a market every Saturday. And you can always come to Juntos Farm with your whole family and learn and enjoy. And there's many, many more things. So Google Ibiza farming and you will find lots of resources. Plug into the community. It's a vibrant ecosystem and there's lots of beautiful things happening for the whole family. So please welcome to Ibiza and join the movement. Thank you, everyone.